Why MGTOW feels right and why it eventually fails men. A lot of men right now aren't angry. They're tired of confusion, tired of disappointment, tired of investing emotionally and walking away with less than they gave. So instead of fighting, many men chose something quieter. They step back, they disengage, they stop trying. And that's where MGTOW starts to feel reasonable. Not because men hate women, not because they want dominance, but because they want relief. Today, we're going to talk about why MGTOW feels right and why staying there eventually limits men instead of freeing them. This episode is not here to mock men. It's not here to deny reality. And it's not here to shame anyone for protecting themselves. It's here to bring clarity. Before we go further, let me be clear about the tone of this conversation. This is not an attack. This is not an ideology. This is not a debate. This is about what works for long term for men who want strength, peace, and self-respect without bitterness or isolation. If you ever felt drawn to MGTOW, this conversation isn't against you, it's for you. So what really is MGTOW? At its core, MGTOW isn't about women, it's about pain avoidance. It's about men who tried to do the right thing, invested emotionally, gave effort, patience, loyalty, and felt punished for it. Over time, disappointment teaches a lesson. The safest move is not to play. So MGTOW becomes a form of emotional self-defense, not loud, not aggressive, just withdrawal. And in the short term, it works. The stress drops, drama disappears, self-respect feels restored. For many men, that initial withdrawal is necessary. Let's not minimize that. So when is withdrawal actually healthy? There is a version of withdrawal that is healthy. It looks like this: stepping back to regain clarity, rebuilding your routine and discipline, restoring your self-respect, learning to stand alone again. After emotional chaos, solitude can feel stabilizing. It teaches emotional regulation, independence, self-command. In this phase, stepping away from dating or relationship isn't weakness, it's simply recovery. But recovery is not the destination, and this is where the problem begins. So where does MGTOW quietly start to break men? What starts as recovery can slowly become avoidance, and avoidance feels safe until it limits your growth. Here's the hard truth. Permanent withdrawal doesn't create mastery. It freezes your development. Men who stay in MGTOW long-term often experience emotional narrowing, growing cynicism, a reduced capacity for connection, an identity built around not needing. Instead of choosing, peace becomes isolation. Independence becomes disengagement. Protection becomes a cage. And the most dangerous part, it feels rational. So let me say this clearly. Peace is not the same as isolation. Isolation removes risks. Peace comes from discernment. One avoids, the other chooses. A man who exits forever never learns how to choose better. So let's talk about the invisible cost of MGTOW. Here's what doesn't get talked about enough. Men who stay in permanent withdrawal often lose. They lose their emotional flexibility, their relational skills, confidence in their judgment, not because they're weak, but because their skills atrophy when they're not used. Relationships are not something you opt out of without a cost. Even solitude, when overused, becomes stagnation. Strength isn't avoiding challenge. Strength is meeting it selectively. So why does MGTOW feel so strong? It feels strong because it restores your control initially. No one can disappoint you if no one gets access to you. No one can hurt you if no one gets close to you. But control is not fulfillment. Control is the absence of vulnerability, not the presence of strength. A man built entirely on control never relaxes, never opens, they never take risks. And that's not freedom. That's self-containment. Avoidance is not mastery. Mastery is discernment. The goal isn't to remove women from your life. The goal is to remove the chaos, the misalignment, and poor selection. So what are men actually seeking? Most men drawing to MGTOW aren't anti-relationship. They're anti-confusion, anti-disrespect, anti-self-betrayal. They want clarity, calm, standards, agency. Those things don't require you to withdraw. They require self-command. So what is the healthy alternative? The alternative to MGTOW isn't naivety. It's not blind optimism, and it's definitely not overgiving. The alternative is having strong boundaries, selective openness, emotional regulation, and an early exit from misalignment. Confidence without hostility. This is not about trying harder. It's about choosing better and walking away earlier, not forever. Healing is temporary withdrawal, not permanent disengagement. Solitude restores clarity, connection tests it. A strong man can do both. So let's talk about this series. This episode isn't the conclusion, it's the beginning. In the next episode, we'll talk about the red pill movement, why it explains some real dynamics, and why living there permanently hardens men instead of freeing them. In the final episode, we'll talk about why so many men are choosing these extremes and what actually works long term, not withdrawal, not bitterness, but grounded strength. So in closing, if MGTOW resonated with you, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means you were hurt and you responded by protecting yourself. That makes sense. But protection is not the destination. The goal isn't for you to exit life. The goal is to re-enter it with clarity, standards, and self-command. Strength isn't avoidance. Strength is the ability to choose and walk away early without walking away forever. This is Bold and Better, and this series is about what actually works. Until next time, have a great day.